and respect him and revere him is second to none. You're talking about borrowing him from somebody, no. It's part of
our religion.
Our religion.
Yeah,
you must believe in his prophethood before you can become Muslim.
Yeah.
As a matter of fundamental principle of Islamic theology, one must believe that Jesus was a prophet of God. If you believe otherwise, you are not a Muslim. So in other words, the divine revelation is one. The message started with Adam. Every time Allah will send a Nabi, that is or a Rasul, you have this different technical, a messenger and a prophet. The messenger might not be sent to any community, but the prophet is asked to go and convey the message to other people.
The messenger, yeah.
Up to the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the reason why, one of the reasons why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized the relationship and the close relationship between him and Isa is he came immediately after Isa ibn Maryam. No interval. For Musa, Isa came in between. But for Isa or for Jesus, nobody came in between. He came next to Isa to continue the same message. And that is why if you read the Holy Quran, all the revealed books and the messages revealed by God, they are incorporated in the Holy Quran. And the conclusion was, therefore, that all these revelations came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to different prophets from Adam to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are incorporated in the Holy Quran, but they have been repealed as far as Islam is concerned. Therefore, Quran in the Deen and the light Islamu, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ إِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. The Islam says that, and from the big coming of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam today, the only acceptable way of life to God is Islam, Deen, in the Deen and the light Islamu. You understand? So, it's interesting to say borrowing him from. Now, so there's nothing like, to cut it short, there's nothing like borrowing.
So aside from, he said, will it contaminate? So like the finality of
these are interesting, these are confusion, the terminology of them are confusing. Yeah. You understand? Like I have explained, the revelations that came before Islam, they are all incorporated in the Holy Quran. In fact, you understand the previous religion, the past religion, through the Holy Quran better than through any other sources. So contaminating what? Al-Quran al-Karim has explained what was revealed before, and then what came through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there's something like contaminating. He's only come to carry the same message that his brother Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to continue the same message that his brother Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was continuing. And this is what Muslims are doing today. Yeah. The imams, the al-mamus, the preachers, the scholars. That's the noble profession, da'wah. Until the end of the ayah. So the answer is no. There's something like contaminating. He will just come back to preach Islam and to, how do you call it, emphasize or to concur with the universality and the everlasting nature of Islam.
I think to add on to that, the Prophet ﷺ has delivered his message already.
Yeah.
So he's just coming to re-emphasize what has already been delivered. So it has nothing to do with Prophet Muhammad's prophethood, neither contaminated it in any way. I think Ustaz, that question is rightly answered. And you don't hesitate. If you have any question regarding that, you can just bring it forth. Either you are a Muslim or a Christian, and inshallah, we will answer your questions based on our holy books. Ustaz, now to move on to the main subject of this course, which is divorce. Before that, naturally, we have questions that come in by different people pertaining to subjects, and this one in particular. So first question I have here, that's sent by someone, a lady, I think, or a man. It says, if you ask your wife to undertake a religious rite, like putting on the hijab, and she refused, what should be your standpoint in as much as this injunction, is an Islamic right?
Yeah. You see, somebody asked me this question just a few days ago in a program, in a gathering, whether the question was whether you can divorce your wife if she refuses to put on the Islamic veil. Divorce is a very serious matter. Well, as a general principle of law, man has authority to divorce. In order, the power to divorce is vested in the hands of men. But also, the woman has been given a very important power, and I'm sure we'll come to the power to withdraw from the marriage, from the marital situation. But the thing is this: divorce is always a last resort. أبغض الحلال عند الله الطلاق is permitted, but as a last resort. The fact that Islam permits divorce does not mean that Islam prefers it. Allah doesn't like it. Islam doesn't like it, because it always has serious consequences for the children, particularly. There are psychological consequences or problems. There could be social consequences, financial consequences. The problems could be so much complicated, and that is why divorce is only permitted for last resort. So, a wise man or husband doesn't have to rush to divorce because the wife refuses to accept, to put on the Islamic veil or to do any other Islamic rite. You apply the method of Anbiya, da'wah. Keep on engaging the person in dialogue, constructive dialogue. Advice, do this, do not give up. You don't have to be violent. Yeah. You know, if any time you embark upon a course with a violent method or approach, you are going to fail.
As a first step,
you are going to fail,
yeah.
Because you cannot remain patient forever with violence. As soon, because you are violent, you will soon crash out of the process. So you are advised to be wise, take it easy, to be diplomatic, to be strategic. Sometimes, if you feel that you cannot deliver the message well, engage others. You understand?
Okay.
You can advise, you can ask the imam of the community, you can ask the qadi, you can ask the elderly, you can ask any person whom you think his advice will be listened to, adhere to, before you divorce. So my advice to those of us who would complain, my wife is skin bleaching, or my wife is refusing to put on the hijab, or is doing this, and I want to divorce, do not rush to divorce. Divorce is not a good thing.
What of those who will resort to fighting? They will not divorce, but they will keep fighting their wives, continuously harassing, insulting, and fighting physically, you know,
fighting also is not the good solution.
Some will not divorce. Yeah. But every day you will hear
that is another dangerous process.
Yeah.
Fighting doesn't lead to how to call it desired consequences. Fighting is very bad. And do you know that when a husband keeps on harassing the wife at home, you know, maltreating the wife at home, the wife will have the right to withdraw from the marriage. And in this case, withdrawal will take place without any compensation, because of the harassment, the continuous harassment, because of the maltreatment, or because of the suffering that she gets at the hands of the husband. So my advice is, therefore, there is no need to fight. You don't have to fight. You know, whatever you cannot get by diplomacy, constructive dialogue, engagement, you can't get it by force. You know, religion, in fact, the Quran says that there is no compulsion in religion. Religious matters, and in fact, everything that has to do with ideology, the people concerned have to be convinced first. Make sure that you make the person convinced. But if there's no conviction, nothing they can do to get it by force. In fact, applying violence or force will lead to a process of, let's say, how to call it, creating a bunch of hypocrites. People will show to you that they accept it when they don't accept it, because they are being forced to accept it.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add on my question is, if you live with the people who call themselves Muslim, are supposed to practice the religion, and out of blatantly, you could call it, they refuse to do it because they just wish that they will not do it. Now, does Islam allow you to stay with people like that? And they are Muslims, and they refuse to practice religious rights, for example.
Well, what do you mean by staying with them? If you belong to the same community.
Your wife, for example, she refuses to pray. She will only pray if she is over-pressurized. If not, she will not pray.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Hijab is an Islamic...
That's what I'm saying. Legally speaking, Sharia, you can divorce. You can let it go. But I'm saying that it's not the best option. If you keep on engaging her, you know, constructively, diplomatically, you'll be able to save the situation in the sense that the person can eventually be convinced.
Turn and be a good person.
And then once the person turns out to be a good person and becomes a good person now, you save a critical situation. You save the marital home from breaking up. You save the children. You save the relatives from what could have been a serious, very serious and damaging psychological, material and financial consequences.
Okay. Some scholars are of the opinion that men and women should not mingle. Yes, it's Islamic right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what of students who are in the same school?
Yeah.
Boys and girls. Now the system, you know, will say a girl should sit to a boy. You know, and in some cases, some of these students are very mature.
Yeah.
Now, what is Islam's take on that?
Typically, in a typical Islamic environment,